This trip is a bit different to other canals I've been on, as there are set opening times for many of the leaky locks, and I need assistance getting through them. Therefore, I'm making my way to the next flight, but it's not all plain sailing.
I'm having a bit of trouble here. I can't go through these locks until tomorrow, but I think I'm going to have to moor inside one. I've never done that before, but I've got no choice. There's nowhere else to tie up. In the lead up to the lock, for a good at least half a mile, there were no mooring rings, bollards, places where I could stick a chain or anything like that. It was all just bracken and trees, and the side of the canal was just too shallow. I know I'm the first boat through tomorrow, so at least there's that. But this is one of the most interesting moorings I've ever had.
Besides reversing a long way back, this is my only option. I'm going to tie up to a ladder and leave the bottom gates open so the lock level doesn't change overnight.
What I'm going to do now is to lock up, check out the local area, see exactly where I am. So I've got a bit of time to kill before tomorrow's locks, 9 AM. At least I won't be late.
I'm taking a short walk to Brookwood Cemetery. Claiming to be the largest in the UK and once the biggest in the world.
Right, this was the grave I was looking for. Belongs to two people that were on the Titanic and escaped in a controversial way. Got Sir Cosmo Duff Gordon and his wife, Lady Christiana Duff Gordon.
The pair were among 12 people who escaped in a lifeboat which had a capacity for 40. It was claimed at the time Duff Gordon had bribed a crew member in charge of the lifeboat not to return to the wreck site. And despite being cleared of the allegation, public suspicion tainted this couple for the rest of their lives.
Quite a tragic tale, but it just goes to show there's more to it. When you look at these graves, it's not just a headstone and not just a name. There's many, many stories intertwined.
I'm exploring the Basingstoke Canal in Surrey, and I had a bit of difficulty finding a good mooring. So tonight I'm spending it here, in a lock.
Quite surreal, mooring up in a lock. But it's quite handy here. I'm right next to the petrol station. There's a road up there. No one's bothering me. I know it's a lovely sound of the water just flowing over the lock gates all night. So, yeah, it's quite peaceful, really.
But I won't be making a habit of this. It was only possible as the lock's shut until 9 AM, and I've been told I'm the only boater on this stretch.
Right, I've made a start, just closing this lock, getting ready. But we've got the lock keeper who's turned up and a couple of people from the other day in Woking who were part of the Canal Society. They're here as well, so I've got some extra hands on the job. Brilliant. Well, the reason why I'm not feeling guilty at all for just basically sitting on my boat drinking coffee is because I had an accident recently, hit myself on the side of the boat and then went in. So for the last couple of weeks I've been slowing down and trying to recover from that. I'm happy that I won't have to do too much today if these guys are up for helping me get through all 17 locks.
While I'm getting a bit of assistance, these locks would have been hard graft for those that worked this waterway. However, this canal wasn't a big money spinner, as trade was never as good as they predicted. Today, the Basingstoke is a triple SI, a site of special scientific interest, meaning it's an important place for wildlife and aquatic plants.
Wow, that's the second grass snake I've seen this year. Brilliant. I don't think it was expecting a boat to come along. It's chucking it down now. It's been such nice weather all day. But here it is. Oh, well, at least we won't run out of water, eh?
Thankfully, it was a short shower and things soon dry up. Next, the canal takes me past Army Training Centre Pirbright. Over the years, this waterway has played a part in training troops. And here, there are steps into the water where soldiers once learnt to swim, complete with full combat kit.
Right, this is it, last lock, and I don't think I could have made it here without the help of Jeff and Ian. If I was to do this on my own, I would have had to more up near the lock again, halfway up. So yeah, I'm very happy that I've made it this far with a bit of help. Right, thanks gents, thanks for all your help. Absolutely brilliant, cheers.
From here, I've got about 20 miles to go. I'll travel through Fleet in Hampshire before reaching my destination, the ruins of Odium Castle. But it's not long after leaving my helpers, I get into a bit of bother.
I think I can see my mooring dead ahead, but I just think if I'm left alone, this is what happens, isn't it? I get into all sorts of trouble. And right now I'm punting my way along the Basingstoke Canal, but it's marginally quicker than switching the propeller on because it is just getting smothered by all this weed that's in the canal. And it's also very shallow. Well, I don't know what this jetty here is all about, but I'm going to have to moor here because I can't go any further without it getting darker and I won't be able to see what I'm doing. The danger is I was obviously slipping and falling. I don't want to do that again.
Before I get going this morning, I need to detangle my prop and clear up the mess from last night.
Right, I'm off. The propeller is spinning, but how far am I actually going to get today? I have no idea. Because if it gets as bad as it did last night, the worst case scenario, I might have to turn this ship around. Real danger here that I won't be able to go much further. We shall see. Listen to the engine. It's really struggling, isn't it? Already slowed down to crawling pace.
I later discovered this section had sprung a leak, which has since been repaired. But the shallow depth made my journey tricky, and I was even forced to propel my boat along with my barge pole.
The Basingstoke Canal is like a lot of other ones. In some parts, beautiful and such a joy to travel along, and then other parts is just a complete nightmare. Especially the shallowness of this canal and the weed getting caught around the propeller. It does make it very, very difficult for a narrow boater like myself to get through.
I'm on the move again, but for how long, I don't know. I don't even want to say, here I am on the move again, because I don't want to jinx it. This lake is known as Great Bottom Flash. Sounds like a Blackadder joke, but it is a real place, and it had a really serious use during World War II. There's quite a few boats that are just left here, and there are quite a few more, apparently, below the surface as well.
The Flash is a hollow which was used by the canal builders along the Basingstoke's route. When war broke out, barges were strung across it to prevent Germans landing flying boats. And the remains of these barges are still here today.
It's just started raining quite heavily, just right in my face. This is not pleasant. This has been one of the most challenging days I've had on my journeys so far. Ugh. Oh, here we go again. Living on my own, on my boat, travelling around the country, it's a real privilege because I know so many people would absolutely love to do this. Often I do find myself in the middle of nowhere, no other boats around, loving the peace and quiet, but at the same time, if I want to be sociable, if I want to meet people, which is exactly why I bought my boat, then it can feel incredibly lonely. It does leave me with that nagging feeling of maybe I should try something else for a bit.
But I'm not sure I could give up my narrowboat or this way of life, despite all the difficulties that come with it.
Right, I've got a lot coming up. Do you know what? I'm just going to moor up before it, I think, because all of the weed hatch action and punting along the canal, together with the rain, I'm finished. I'm going to moor up and do the lock tomorrow, I think. Right, another early morning, and I just need to make myself some breakfast before I set off. Looking at my supplies here of my homemade muesli, that needs to be topped up, so I'm going to add some more oats, some seeds, dried fruit, granola, and I usually put in some kind of naughty, sugary cereal, so I've got some hoops. All right. Right, new day, new start. Yesterday I only travelled about 2 miles, and I've got a lot more ground to cover. But yeah, I'm just hoping for an easier ride today.
As I move on this morning, I head under a distinctive Hopkins Bridge, as they're known. It was designed by a Captain Hopkins during the First World War and was used to carry military equipment like tanks across the canal.
It's coming into Fleet. Oh, I've just seen possibly the lowest bridge that I've ever come across. If I can make it through this one, there's a mooring the other side. That's going to be tricky. Oh no. I think there might have been some breakage. Oh man. The boat is basically wedged underneath this bridge. I don't know what I'm going to do. Unless I can add some more weight to it somehow. But as it is, I'm wedged in there.
The top box on my roof that I can store extra things in, it can be removed, but it usually just stays on top of my roof, and it's fairly low profile. It doesn't stick out like my chimneys would. I tried to push it through from the other side just to see if I could use the bridge, and I realised that I'd got myself more stuck than before. In fact, I couldn't even pull the boat back.
I have to call my friend Jamie. He lives locally with his family, and he helped me the other day, so I'm hoping he can help me again, if only just to jump on board and give me some extra weight on the boat.
He came down, jumped on the front of the boat, adding a bit more weight so we could pull the boat back. Then we took the top part of my top box off. That gave us just enough room, with Jamie on the front, to get the boat underneath the bridge, but was clearing by only millimetres.
How does it look, Jamie?
Right.
Okay, I like your positivity. As soon as we pull in here, I will let you get off and get back to work. Thanks for rescuing me.
That was a close one. And after a fleeting visit to Fleet to stock up with supplies, I'm carrying on with my journey.
Well, I won't forget that bridge in a hurry. And I won't forget the help of my friend Jamie. I owe him one. I would stay longer, but I have got more of this canal to squeeze in. So I really want to make it to the end if I can.
If you're into military history, this is the canal for you, as the Basingstoke formed part of a series of defensive lines during World War II. And pillboxes like this one were built to delay an invading army.